It's time to reveal an all-new Porsche. Underneath here, I got for you, wait for it, the all-new electric Porsche Macan. And this here is the base model so far, the Macan 4. Underneath the second one, to be revealed soon, is the Macan Turbo. Both electric, and we're going to find out, first of all, about this new EV version, but also what about the future of the combustion models of the Macan. Everything with Thomas Fuel in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go here with the front of the new electric version. You see definitely a very wide stance, of course a more closed look, but in lower part there is still an air intake, and it is an adaptive one to improve the aerodynamics, so it's closed when the cooling is not needed actually. There's also a complete closed underfloor. Aerodynamic figures, the CD value is overall 0.25. In comparison, a Model X from Tesla is 0.24, a Model Y would be 0.23, so not as good as Tesla, but overall in this segment here, already a very good aerodynamic figure. Here the headlamp, you can see it's split there in the visual part, and matrix LED is an option. This color here, by the way, is called Provence. It's called Provence, yeah. It's an all-new color, so I have to learn and remember it, right? But it's also, you could also call it lavender or something, so a very interesting, unique color we haven't seen so far. You can see at the side profile, also totally new wheels, of course. Although we know the basic styling of this one, the maximum size available is 22-inch, and this one here is indeed the biggest one, 22-inch. And I have never seen this car here before. This reveal I did for you was the live reveal also for me, and I've done it that, you know, I'm actually as surprised as you. I know the facts of the vehicle, but I also want to share this live impression I have myself. Key fob, typical silhouette, but then again some new materials. This is then the hotkey for the trunk, and there's also a hotkey for the possible frunk. Let's see how it works. You know, usually you have to unlock a frunk first, and then there's always the discussion, do you need one or not? Sometimes people say, yeah, we'll have everything stored in the rear, and then I want access to the charging cable in the front. Look at that now. That's a perfect solution, isn't it? I don't have to, you know, extra unlock it right here. That's super simple, and then we have 80 liters here in the front. And that is really a great solution, that you can put your charging cable there in the front, whereas you can pack everything in the rear and you don't have to, you know, search for the charging cable underneath a box or something. So that's awesome. Use the frunk, I must. Kudo, joaio, allim설정, 부탁해요. The length now at 4.78 meters or 188 inches. That's 10 centimeters or 4 inches longer than the combustion engine Macan, and most of that gain in length goes into a longer wheelbase and shorter overhangs. After all, you don't need the engine there in the front. What do you think, design-wise? Is it a problem when the hood is now a little bit shorter? But I feel that especially here to the rear part, you can definitely see it's still a Macan, so there's a very characteristic hip area and also this coupe-alike line here. I can already tell you so far, by the way, here we have frameless doors on all 4 doors, and of course an extensive interior part is to come up very soon. Suspension-wise, it's very interesting. You would start with base suspension, just steel suspension. On top of that, PASM, then you have the adaptive one, and on top of that you can get the adaptive air suspension, which would be standard for the Turbo coming up here next to us, the second vehicle very soon. However, on the Northern American market, the air suspension will always be standard. Well, I can tell you who's liking that vehicle and who's liking that color. Well, Leah definitely likes it. Yeah, I'm not so sure about the color yet, but yeah, maybe Leah is more the target group of that color indeed. So she loves it. Interior, what do you think? She likes it. Yeah. Towards the rear, you can once again see these shorter overhangs also in the rear. Then the light strip goes all the way across. The sister model of this one here, by the way, sharing this new PPE platform. It's called Premium Platform Electric. shared with the Audi Q6 e-tron. We've already driven that on a prototype ride. This one here, the new Macan Electric, is a little bit longer than the Q6 e-tron, but they are of course in the very, very same segment. Also a very clean look in the rear, and then the sporty accentuation in the lower part. On the technology side, by the way, you can optionally get, and this only for the Macan, not for the Audi, here a rear axle steering, and the rear wheels turn up to 5 degrees in the opposite direction than the front wheels, reducing the turning circle and also making it more agile at lower speeds. Turning indicators in the front, wow, that looks really fancy, doesn't it? So all the daytime running light is on top of here, and then the main light system, this one is also the LED matrix, is then here in the lower part. Have you seen, by the way, this structure here on top of the lower spoiler? This is also pretty cool. Turning indicators in the rear, you can see here a very slim integration, but very wide and horizontal. It's actually quite cool. And another detail I just discovered here, look at that, how the rear view camera is integrated right here. And then you have this very nice integration design where I see a big Porsche lettering, and also the opener for the trunk is right here. Of course, we're soon going to check out the trunk for you. So there is no rear wiper, however. And that is always giving a lot of discussions. So design-wise, of course, it looks way better without a rear wiper. You remember in the combustion engine version, there you could press this button integrated in the rear wiper to open. It was also quite fancy. Yeah, but then again, some complain that you cannot see that well through the rear window when you don't have the rear wiper. And I can actually confirm that usually cars I drive who don't have a rear wiper, the visibility is always somewhat limited when it's, for example, very rainy. So far, all Macan will come with all-wheel drive, means one electric motor in the front, one electric motor in the rear. The rear one will always be the stronger one. And so this platform is also allowing a rear-wheel drive only version, which might be coming as a new entry version then later on. This one here, the Macan 4, around 400 horsepower and 5.1 seconds in the acceleration figure. Top speed 220 kilometers an hour or 140 miles an hour. There is one that is quicker and faster. Because at 640 horsepower and then 3.3 seconds in the acceleration figure is the new electric Macan Turbo. That is, of course, supercar figures. Here also with the all-wheel drive. This one here is ice gray, this color. That looks always pretty cool, right? Wow, what a visual appearance. However, I have to say, if you compare the combustion engine models, definitely you always see these shorter overhangs. And I think it looks pretty cool. In the front, I think it looks even more like tech style, like technology style, more angular, maybe even more German in design. But the short overhangs, I think, there the combustion engine looks a little bit cooler because longer overhang always appeals a little bit more to the eye. Or what's your take on that? Would be looking forward to your comments. Here in the front, we can see the Macan Turbo is then here painted in high gloss black to be a little bit more upmarket, even if you compare it to the base version. And here once again, we have the split between the headlamps units. And the color, of course, that is totally free. You can pick this color also for the base version. And our turbo vehicle here has also a blacked out Porsche logo and also this vertical blade right here. However, I think it becomes clear that if we compare it to the combustion models, very much in general now, we've seen this trend here. When you look at the electric versions of these vehicles, the design differences between the base versions and the super top sporty versions are not as large as they used to be with the combustion engine models. Macan Turbo from the side. Here, once again, 22-inch wheels. These ones are also aerodynamically optimized. Then the wheel arches are painted in high gloss black, and we also have these carbon fiber inserts right here. This insert here, by the way, has always been a style thing for the Porsche Macan, and once again the hip area right here. A little bit more different in the rear because the turbo has the turbo badge right here and also these additional styling elements and also high gloss black in the lower part. Active aerodynamics, by the way, also play a part at the rear. Maybe you remember the combustion engine version, which has the roof spoiler. That is gone, so this is a more fluent design. But then here we have the active rear wing that can go up. And here in our cutaway model, we can talk about the battery and charging. You can see here the battery pack in the lower part of the vehicle. That's why also the center of gravity is always pretty low, and we can also expect good driving dynamics, although of course this vehicle will be much heavier than the petrol engine version. This battery pack here is at 95 kilowatt hours net, so actually pretty large already. And what we can realistically expect from the driving range will be about 500 kilometers or 300 miles for the realistic or real world range. Recharging technology, pretty good, 800 volt. We know that already from the Taycan. And this will give you 21 minutes, 10 to 80% state of charge. Recharging here is actually possible on both sides. This side will house AC and DC. AC 11 kilowatt. For now, 22 kilowatt AC will come later. Then DC peak is 270 kilowatt when you charge 800 volt. Interesting technology, when you charge 400 volt, the battery pack will basically split in half and then have a 150 kilowatt peak. On the other side, there will be an additional AC charger, so then you're a little bit more flexible. Charging flap is base manual, and then you can also optionally get here this capacitive sensor, and then it goes open like this electronically. Then when you put in the DC plug like this, and then when you pull it out, this one will go up a little bit, and then, hopefully flap back automatically. And this one closes after 2 minutes when it's like this, or also when you close the vehicle. Now to the interior, start with the Macan Turbo, because this one here has a bright interior. It's just better to see and to film. First of all, door closing sound.